And we're back for another episode. In this episode I'm going to be doing Amdapor Keep as a White Mage for the quest A Relic Reborn. White Mage being my 6th relic that I'm going for, called the Virus. So just need to do Amdapor Keep and then we can carry on with the quest. Which after doing Amdapor Keep we will then be headed towards Hydra and then the hard mode primal fights in order to finish the relic. So once we go in, we will continue. Now, the general advice when you're healing is to disable the automatically turn to face your target, because when you're healing you don't need to face your target. And because especially when you're doing a fight like Demon War, for example, if you're turned the wrong way and you try to strafe out of the poison, you might accidentally strafe off the cliff rather than in the right way. Now, the good thing about White Mage, when they use Stone Skin, they have a trait which means it actually does 18% mitigation, which is much better than when it's used as a cross-class ability. So in order to disable it, as I mentioned, you go to Character Configuration, Target, and then disable this option here, automatically face target when using an action. Apply, okay. Now this is ideal for healers. For DPS you obviously would want to keep that enabled. Wow, as you can see the tank's stone skin hasn't even broken yet. So if it carries on this way, because the tank is so good, I will just assist DPS. Quickly renew a stone skin. That's what's interesting about White Mage, is that I don't have to spam Cure that much. It's mostly like Stone Skin and regens, at least for now, and then spamming Medicas on the bigger fights. But that's only because we're so obviously overgeared for this fight. So after I finish the White Mage relic, I'm intending to get the Dragoon one. After Dragoon, Black Mage, and after Black Mage, Monk. And then all of them will be finished. And I hope you like the videos I release on YouTube. You know, I'm doing it for the benefit of any player in the game. That's why I'm filming it from every single job's point of view, so that you can see how it's done as every single job, whichever job takes your interest. And I try to provide as much advice as I can. Given I'm now level 50 with all jobs, once I finished all the relic quests, I am going to see, especially with the DPS classes, learning the rotations properly, and then hopefully in 2.2 be making videos covering the rotations of every class and just the general advice of how to play every class. And the reason I like to do it is I like to be thorough. I like to know that I'm doing things the right way. Not sure why he provoked these, but whatever. So we're all just eagerly awaiting more news about 2.2 to see the new content. They're releasing the new item levels, the new everything. It's a major patch. So it's going to be the next vertical progression of the game, because it will become a lot harder. And we will be getting higher levels of gear. That's why it's called vertical, because it's going up. This is the ideal situation for a healer when you basically don't really have to do much healing. It is awesome as well having every single class to 50, so I don't need to worry about leveling up until they either release a new job or increase the level cap, which is just an awesome feeling. That means every day when I log in, I can just do quests and do achievements and stuff like that. A little bit of aggro because this summoner keeps pulling extra mobs for no reason. Or for the extra gil, he said. These cloak stands here for the sake of doing extra damage. Okay, so far so good. Sooner diseases. A good thing with casters is that you can use TP to sprint and it doesn't affect anything you're doing even in battle, because we don't use TP for any other abilities. Now, regen is a good way of pulling threat, unfortunately, so you need to make sure you use it carefully. Thankfully this tank is more than capable, so I have no problem just using it a lot, but with the weaker tank I would resist using regen until after they've established threat. That's funny. The group has basically made the point of, if you're going to pull extra mobs, we're going to let it kill you, we're not going to help. It's not trolling, it's just wasting time for no reason. Very little gain. You know, if you want to do it, you can ask, but if the whole group says no and you do it anyway, then yeah, people will react. It's just rude at that point. Sometimes it is to just quicker to kill it than it is to just wait. You see what I mean? That I can have my back turned to everyone and still cast the spells, which is great. Easy peasy. It's nice when you do these things and it's a lot easier than before, because I remember how before this was nerfed, how much harder it was doing this dungeon. And even we had lower gear as well. So when I finish this, all of these relics, I'm curious with really all the people who watch my videos, what is your favorite class and why, really? I mean, I don't want to say that Bard is my favorite class because it is my main, but it doesn't mean it's my favorite. I still need to decide which one is, to be honest. So, but how do you guys feel? Is there one class which stands out higher than the rest? You know, what led you to make that decision? I am always curious to find out people's opinions on the game. Personally, I find Scholar to be a lot more interesting than White Mage as a healer. They're both good, but I just find Scholar more interesting. Because it really does feel that as a White Mage, all I'm doing is like regenning and stone skinning, and maybe the occasional stone 2 and holy or something, and that's pretty much it. And Medica in emergencies. Yeah, I'm going to generally just try and do regen after the fight is started. Yeah, I do find White Mage kind of boring. It was easy to level, thankfully, because of, you know, dungeon spamming and so on, but it's just... with Scholar, you have Adaloquium, Sucker, you have your fairies, you have Lustrate, which is a wonderful ability in an emergency, and so on. You have many things. And the better direct healer is, of course, White Mage, but I do like the just the quirkiness of a Scholar. And the shields of Adaloquium and Sucker. Or Sukur, however you want to pronounce it. Well, the thing to pardon me, the thing to know for this fight, as a healer, you need to dispel disease when it's on the tank. Like now, for example. Otherwise, the amount of healing they receive is a lot less, which can be a big problem. And they move slower and so on, so it's just generally just bad for there to be a disease. Oh, whoops, wasn't paying attention. Just gonna focus target him so I can see when the catastrophes are going off. And as you noticed as well with the Suna, the cast time is less than a second. So when the disease is there, in less than a second you can have it removed. There you go, so catastrophe is going off again. Okay, so someone has spawned an exploding orb, like right in the middle of everyone. Well, whatever, we won. So that's that quest done. So now let's head back to Revenant's Toll and do the next part of the quest. Here's Rowena. So Rowena says, clear on the deal that will no longer fulfill your part of it. And then go over the Amdapor glyph, which says a Carstone tablet dating back to the 5th Astral Era, sought by naturalists and collectors of relics. So Rowena says, good on you. This is exactly what I was after. You've honoured your part of the bargain, so I'll do the same. Okay, so now we need to give the copy of Interview with the Pajal to Geralt in Northshroud. There we go. It's nice when something like Amdapor Keep and so on is a quick, smooth run. For me, this is going to be the last of the, let's say, easy relics to get, because as a healer or a tank, the reason it's easy is because you can get very fast queues for Duty Finder, whereas as a DPS, it can be a little bit more tedious. Well, as I say, given that this is my 6th, you know, only 3 to go after this, and then I'm done with a Relic Reborn, at least for now. feel like I've done this run so many times, doing a Relic Reborn over and over again, but so many people have already gone through this as well, so they already know the feeling. Not everyone has the time to level everything to 50, but because I did, I like to just get achievements done, because basically this is all I'm going to be doing from now on until they release more content, is just achievement farm. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is left for me to do. So anyway, here is Geralt. So Geralt says, back to pester me so soon. Judging from that smirk on your face, I take it you found what you need. So we're handing over the interview with the Pajal. It says, a manuscript bearing an account of one Aldanian thaumaturgist's conversations with a wayfaring Pajal. So, this text is about Atoa Khan. Alright, but gods, would have killed the bugger that wrote it to use normal bloody words. It'll take me bleeding moons to get through this lot. Time I could be spending on kettles. Gah, while I try and make head or tail of it all, why don't you take this here unfinished virus and try it out? As I mentioned before, it's still missing summit, but it's all there shape-wise, meaning it should serve you just fine as an ordinary weapon. Seeing as you're a ripe or white mage, mayhap you'll be able to feel out exactly what it wants for. That's to say, get out there and fight some nasty foes, as Atoa Khan must have done back in the day. Ungura mines over in Outer Lenosia ought to serve your needs. Pit yourself against some of Orgamora's quarrymen, priests and beast men, 8 of each say, and then come back and tell me what you've gleaned. All with the information in the text and your first-hand experience, I reckon we'll solve this puzzle yet. Okay, so now we need to head to Outer Lenosia. And it's very important to remember that when you're doing this part of the quest that you actually equip the unfinished virus, otherwise you won't get credit for the kills. So, just gonna put it on, here we go, unfinished virus. Okay, that's what it looks like, so looks kind of cool. But of course it will look even better when it's actually finished. So basically, to get to Orgamora Mines from Camp Overlook, just go here, northeast, and then up, and you'll get there. I do like the Dark Light Healing Cowl because it reminds me of Assassin's Creed, which is a game I'm hoping to cover in my YouTube channel quite soon. Okay, so we go. I'm going to quickly rebuff myself. And put on Cleric Stance. Let's do this. So you can actually do Arrow 1 and Arrow 2 at the same time. Generally try and avoid any fights which are not needed. I'm going to sprint through this. This is the fate for the Crystal Tower quest, so I'm going to avoid it for now. Okay. This quest you can be assisted in party with people, so if you have friends who you would like to do it with, then just bring them along. Okay, what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and holy these to death. Wow, it would help if they weren't all ranged, I mean, for goodness sake. Okay, so 5 down, 19 to go. And then put it to sleep. I guess it's not so bad doing this as a White Mage, because I think it was actually kind of harder doing this as a Scholar. The killing part as in. I just try and avoid fights that are not needed. Almost there, so I just need 10 more monsters and I'm done. Thankfully I can always see on the mini-map with the little orange dots exactly where they are, so I don't have to look around for them. Just wait for my mana and then kill another 3. Basically, I try not to waste time fighting, doing fights I don't need to do, because it just delays progress. Okay, almost there. 4 monsters to go. Okay, so one more priest, one more quarryman, and I'm done. Just try and carefully go through this area just because there's so many other monsters, just so I can fight the one that I need. Okay, just one more and get out of here. Now thankfully when I come back to do this as either a Dragoon or Black Mage or Monk, I'll be able to kill these a lot quicker. Okay, so now I need to return to Geralt in North Shroud. Oh, it's raining. So once I have the Virus, then I will earn the title The White. So every relic comes with a title. So the Dragoon one is of the Vengeful Lance, the Monk one is Coral Fist, the Black Mage one is Starcaller, then the Paladin one is the True, Warrior one is Iron Eater, the Bard one is the God's Bow, and let's see, the Summoner one is Green Eyes, and the Scholar one is the Strategist. Now these titles are actually referring mostly to the original owners of the relics, the ones who used them in the past that you're sort of reclaiming them from. So in our case, because we're the White, it's referring to the Pajal and Atoa Khan specifically, as you can see in my White Mage job videos. So anyway, here's Geralt. So Geralt says, back already. By the frown you're wearing, I take it you got nothing to show for your time with the kobolds. Be as you want for better sport, and I know just a creature what will give it to you. The Hydra what reigns over the fiends within Halatali. A nicely piece of work that. Try not to piss your britches when you see it. Okay, so we need to go to Halatali, which is in eastern Fanalan. So I'm going to teleport to Count Drybone. Now one thing they've added in as of patch 2.16 is your ability to do Hydra using the Duty Finder. So I'm going to quickly run to the entrance and show you where you can unlock it. And I'm showing you, every time I get to this part of the quest I always run to Halatali, just in case this is the first of my videos you've seen. I don't want to assume you know exactly where to go, so I'm going to show you. So from Camp Drybone you run south to Halatali, which is right here, and when you get there there'll be a little destination on the floor which you can click on, which will then add the Hydra fight to your Duty Finder. So right here, this left entrance, that entrance actually enters into Halatali, which is a level 21 dungeon, whereas this entrance actually enters into the Hydra fight, and you'll see a little destination here if you've not unlocked it before. So anyway, that's it for this episode, and the next part will be doing Hydra as a White Mage. And what's very important to remember, that when you're doing the Hydra fight you must be wearing your unfinished relic, otherwise you won't get credit towards the quest. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and as always, goodbye from me, and goodbye from Mithrie.